What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. You guys know I've been on vacation. I've been in Panama. I've been overseas. I've been in Las Vegas. I am back for the Christmas break. And so I had to bring on a special guest who is like one of the most talented folks that I know, just kind of putting the energy in, putting the hustle. I ran into him at Asia's event in Detroit. I said, look at this guy with the camera crew now. But you guys may know him as Nas the Duru, not the Guru. Nas, tell him your official name, and
Okay.
we're gonna get this kicked off.
I'm Nasser, aka the real estate guru. I'm not a guru, I'm a duru because I actually do this business.
All right, everybody. And when you come in, drop that city and state in the chat and hit that like button. Help us fight Skynet. You know how it be out here in these streets. So, Nas, here's the funny thing. I was in Charlotte, North Carolina in 2011, and I was there for 6 months. And my uncle said, "Listen, let me give you some money." I was in the NODA district in a half flipped house. My friend from East Carolina University had me in a half flipped house. It was looking ghetto. He was like, "I ran out of money. Y'all can rent it from me." And around the corner was a duplex. The street was kind of ratty looking. I was on NODA on one of the main streets. Could walk down the street by the little gas station, catch the bus, eat that pizza at that gas station place, everything. And the duplexes was for actually for 74,000 because both sides were raggedy and the tenants had moved out. 2011. My uncle's like, hey, we're gonna come up here. We're gonna clean up one side, let you move that side. We're gonna clean up the other side. It may take us a little bit longer. I said, man, I don't want that mess. And I said, I'm moving to Austin, Texas. That same area, y'all, to this day. I don't even know how much those duplexes are, but I'm pretty sure they're in the 400. I'm pretty sure. Last time
Past
I
that.
drove past there,
Past 400.
it's
They've been
insane.
past 400. Yeah, they duplex and NODA is probably gonna run you like five, 600,000 these days. The
Hmm.
dirt, but if you probably sell it for $200,000 to $300,000, somebody will probably buy it for the dirt and build an $800,000 to $900,000 house. NODA is prime real estate here. It's probably 98% done at this point.
Hmm.
So it ain't much left in there to turn. And for those who don't know, that was one that I moved down to Charlotte in 2008 from Jersey. I'm originally from Jersey, but
Hmm.
when I came down and got into the real estate investing network here in Charlotte, man, people were telling me back in 2000, you could get a whole block in NODA for 40,000. So at one point, it was one of their hardcore hoods. The locals call it North Charlotte. Just basically like any other hood, drug infested, prostitutes, violence, anything that going in the hood in the low income area, because in the low income area they have low options, so they resort to what they know. So, but yeah, that's prime real estate, and the reason why that's prime real estate is because literally you can take one street to go right into downtown. Literally.
You really can. I mean, like I could walk. I literally would walk down to this little corner place, get these home slice pizzas from this pizza place that looked like a gas station. And now when I drove back over there, I was like, oh my God. I just didn't know what I had. But what I should have known better, right? Because um the duplex, it was going for 74. I think the guy was just ready to sell, but the duplex beside him was 150. So I should have knew, in 2011, hey, like if the one beside him that still looks a little ratty is 150 and he's selling for 74, this is a steal. My uncle was like, I just don't want to buy it and do it all the way from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and you not staying here. That's pretty much the only incentive he had to do it was if I was going to stay. So it was crazy. Like my to this day, my family be like, "Girl, what happened?" So the
Yeah.
big thing is people always think, oh, these people making millions of dollars in real estate come from super wealthy families and they got all this leg up. Explain to us what you were doing when you came from New Jersey. Where were you working?
In the my first call center job was $10 an hour was my first call center job. Um, hey, can I say something real
Oh
fast?
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Uh, 2,300 square feet in NODA is running 850. 2,300.
2,300 square feet, 850. Good gracious.
I
Y'all,
just
I
want
want y'all to understand it's high. It's yeah, yeah.
to give somebody an idea, on 35th Street in NODA, 3,600 square feet, 4 bedroom, 4 bath, 3,600 is on the market for 1.1. But I'm just wanting to give you, I don't want to get back or get all into that. I just wanted to give you an idea of what's that, what's it worth today. And that at one point that was the hardcore hood. So meaning that if you didn't look like me and Ericka, you didn't go on that side of town because you were not welcome and you knew you were not welcome. And if you look like me and Ericka, if we weren't either living there or we weren't doing business, which is real estate or something like that, we wouldn't go there because we were not welcome as well. Just one of those type of neighborhoods. And you know what go on in a low income
Listen, I
environment.
didn't walk back at night. I walked in the daytime to the bus one time, and I walked past these little houses where people were paying $400 a
Yep.
month. I said, I know I don't want to walk past here at night. So I
Yeah.
had my car. I would drive it because people were like, oh, you could just catch the transportation, just walk. I was like, I can't want to walk at night over here. And so like it's just y'all. We went to a club over there, and we were there at 4 in the morning. It was like a Jamaican guy, and he had it like about 2 o'clock in the morning. He started going around grabbing all our glasses out of our hand, pouring them in the red cups, and giving us a red cup. Man, that place stayed open to 4 in the morning. I was like, this is the hood. But it had a good food truck in front of it, soul food, Jamaican, and it was like islander music. But it was just like I don't even know if that's still over there. But it was a
Nah,
fun place.
man, the gentrification is so high in that neighborhood, man. They don't. Somebody don't bought that lot, knocked that joint down, and
Dang.
knocked down that Jamaican spot with the music. It used to be an after hour spot, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they knocked that down. And I don't
Man.
know what they're doing, but once they come into the once that new money come into the neighborhood, they want things that are productive to that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That club, it wasn't productive to the residents in that neighborhood, and you're surrounded by 6 and 7 figure salaries and 6 and 7 figure incomes. They like, yo, what's that doing here? Nah, they gotta go.
Listen, you
You
should have
know?
seen the cars pull up though. It was like all the cars with the paint, candy paint. Like I was like,
Yeah,
y'all wild over
I
here.
remember. I remember. I
I
remember.
got
I probably went there like twice, and I was like, yo, this ain't the type of place I need to be at. You know what I mean?
look. I was rolling with people. You got to just if you in the car now, you got to call. You got to figure out how you gonna go home. So you just ride with the people.
Yeah.
That's why I say I drive myself. um. Okay. So you're at work. You like look. Everything I ever heard about call center be call center horror stories. What
Yes.
made you go? I gotta go and do something different.
Man, just all right. So $10 an hour, then $12. For those who don't know, Charlotte, North Carolina at that time was the second largest city in America based upon banking. I think they're like number three or number four now because Wells Fargo bought Wachovia, and with that acquisition, we became like number three, I think, on the list in America of biggest bank town. So a lot of people came through the banks or went through the banks. So um, with that being said, man, it was different. So for me, um, so I'm in a call center. I started off the $10 one, then went to $12. So I'm in my 20s at the time. So I would just look up and just see these people like 10 years my senior, 5 years
Dang.
my senior. I'm 25, 26 at the time. And I'm like, yo, that can't be me. I can't. And I just ate my humble pie and put myself in a position where I started learning. So by learning, meaning reading books, self-development books, real estate books, etc., that led me to join my local RIA, and I realized that I didn't know anything. Um, when I mean anything, to if I knew something, I wouldn't be in this call center. So I just put myself in the student position instead of being vice president of the world. And here it is, I'm broke in the call center. So I knew for a fact that I did not want my life to be in no call center 10 years from now. So um, I'm not going to say I discovered real estate, but I did discover creative real estate investing because
Mm-hmm.
I already been investing the traditional way since '07 back in Jersey, lost money, 7,000 a piece. I bought a rental in Charlotte in '08, a rental in '09, all in the hood. And I was house rich, but cash poor. Couldn't get any more loans because my debt to income until I learned about creative real estate investing. Whereas you don't walk into a bank for loans. and things of that nature. And that's what was the life-changing situation of getting that information. And it was like, yo, man, wholesaling, yo, man, nah, I'm doing this. I'm doing this wholesaling thing. And wholesaling, what that is basically flipping houses with no money or no credit. You just literally pushing piece of paper around. So yeah, man. And from me doing that, man, it was just, on. I learned that, and it was on the pop, and I was ready to go.
He was like, I'm out of here. The crazy part about it is I just left a conference called Real Estate Domination in Las Vegas. And ET got up there, hip hop preacher. He be cracking me up. He's like, y'all, follow the program, follow the plan. just quit. Where am I supposed to be doing now? What does the plan say? And
Yeah.
you'd be amazed how many people are like, I have these questions. I'm like, did you buy some land? Did you reach out to an architect? Like, keep it. What are y'all doing? You doing everything but what the plan is. And so, when people start out in wholesaling, I think they learn a lot of stuff about how to talk to people, how to connect contractors, people on the ground. You've seen the hood in Charlotte go from the hood to, as we named the show, the hood no longer accepts Section 8.
The hood no longer accepts Section 8, dog. The hood no longer accepts Section 8. And I literally seen that. And that's one thing wholesaling taught me, and I was doing it locally, all the neighborhoods. So at one point in time, whereas other folks did not want to do no business there. I mean, they did not want to buy houses. It was only slumlords.
Mm-hmm.
Slumlords would buy those houses, and yeah, that's basically it. And people that were black that didn't mind the areas, and that's when the west side of Charlotte was 20, 25,000, 30,000, 40,000. To get these properties.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I take you into some of these drug blocks, and I can show you like, yo, this was a drug block.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a drug block, and being that it was a drug block, is no longer no like you there's no Section 8 rentals left.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and when I tell people, they be like, "Oh, nah, man." I'll be like, "Y'all, it really." There, I drove over there. Maybe was it 2 years ago, and I was sitting there shocked, like, whoa, what happened? And I just realized it's like that's how quick it happens. Where you look up and it's all gone. It's all gone. Like, and that's right. Honestly, I flipped a coin. I was gonna go to Austin, Texas, or Nashville, Tennessee. I came out here in late 2012, going into 2013. The same time I was gone, Charlotte and Nashville blew up like crazy. Like all my friends I knew in real estate, doing phones, doing all that, crazy money, insane money.
That's what I heard about Nashville. To her, same thing that happened in Charlotte happened in Nashville. But like somebody said in Cincinnati, it's going over in every major city in America. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Every major city in America is the same exact thing. So so it's the same exact thing. Like, and Atlanta, which always had a black excellence history.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Always, right? Literally the street named after MLK, Martin Luther King. Those neighborhoods used to be all black.
Mm-hmm.
Not no more. That's prime real estate. It's on the outskirts of downtown. So it's the same thing no matter where you go. The closer you are to downtown, that's valuable real estate. If you can see the skyline, man, that's valuable real estate. If you're in the major city, so if you come across a good deal, or if real estate is still affordable in your town, you need to pick that stuff up, man. Yeah, because it's the same thing everywhere. And yes, the hood no longer accepts Section 8, because once these other people, once you start getting values of a house going for 800,000, 850, 700,000, 500,000, 400,000 for 1,200 square feet. Once you start getting those type of numbers, those people ain't trying to live next to low income.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that investor who owns that property, or somebody reaches out, they turn the property over, or that investor tells like, nah, we don't want that type of tenant. We want the higher tenant. And even a few years ago, man, Section 8 in Charlotte, North Carolina, they had to tell the people like, yo, listen, you got to you got to start looking on the outskirts of Charlotte for people to take the voucher, because there was an issue where a lot of places in Charlotte would not accept the voucher anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that, yes, Charlotte changed because, and I'm gonna take you guys back in history. So back in back in the 1900s, right? Let's start for the 20s, okay? So, in a good book to educate you all is The Color of Law. So,
Mm-hmm.
back in the 20s, they started building housing projects, right? The original housing projects were not for African Americans. So, don't let nobody tell y'all that we gave y'all housing. You know, we gave y'all this. No, those benefits and programs were originally for white people. And in the 1920s, what happened was they white people could move into housing projects, but you had to be clean, you had to be married, you could not have roaches or anything like that. They had stipulations, and they would have, they would make sure that the person was clean by checking on them, etc. If you wasn't
Mm-hmm.
clean, you had to go. All right, so then
Elvis lived in the projects.
yeah, so
Section 8.
and then what they did was they started building out the suburbs. All right. And when they started building the suburbs, a black developer cannot build housing for black people. A white developer cannot build housing for black people. Nobody, the banks wouldn't allow it. So those people in the housing projects, what they would do is they would offer them the white people, they would offer them low interest government backed loans,
Mm-hmm.
okay, in a house in the suburbs. So the builder is just selling these people houses, right? They were giving that stuff, right? And they built out the suburbs, and the black people, we always had the inner city because the inner city was less desirable. Even though the money was there in the city, it was always less desirable because of the public transportation, right? The inner city was it was busy, and being that it was busy, the white people didn't want to live there. Yeah, they go get their money and then they go back out to the suburbs. All right. Fast forward to 1968, the second set of civil rights after MLK had passed. All right. What they would do at that particular point, they would give the Fair Housing Act, right? The Equal Housing
Mm-hmm.
Act, okay. And one of the stipulations that African Americans can buy real estate anywhere. Prior to that, you could not buy real estate anywhere. If you were black, you couldn't buy real estate, and that was a good enough reason for you not to be able to buy it. If a white person sold a black person a house in a neighborhood that a black person was not allowed to live, that white person went to jail and got sentenced for that, for causing riots and things of that nature. Okay, and so 68. They said a black person can buy real estate anywhere in the event that they could afford it. The reason why they said in the event they could afford it, prior to that, white people were giving things that they could not afford. They were just giving them because they were white and they wanted to.
Homestead Act.
There you
Mm-hmm.
go. Separate us. So um, from there, you had that. Okay, so now you have the red line and everything else. 60s and 70s, black neighborhoods were wiped out and not giving any money because the highway, when they were doing infrastructure in America, we're talking about highways, okay? When they were
Mm-hmm.
doing infrastructure in America, what they did, they wiped out a lot of black neighborhoods because they could not interrupt white life. So if you notice in the inner city, we have access to a lot of highways. Today, that's beneficial having
Mm-hmm.
access to a lot of highways. Today, that's beneficial having access to public transportation. Uh, in New York State, right now, granted, it was no slavery in the North, but however, in New York State, there are bridges that are intentionally low so that the black people from the inner city cannot ride the bus to go to the beaches. You know what I'm saying? So all this was done by government. It was not
Mm-hmm.
done. It was not done because black women can't keep their legs closed. It was not done because black men are hypersexual. It was not done because we're less educated, that we are inferior. No, it was done by government intentionally. So fast forward, the inner city, we got every downtown, every major city, all the corporate buildings, right? They got the nightlife downtown, and
Mm-hmm.
they have a sports team. More than likely, not all the time. I'm from Jersey, whereas the New York Giants are located in Jersey, but off the highway in the middle of nowhere. But everywhere else, in most places, they'll have that in the stadiums downtown. Me
Mm-hmm.
and you were in Detroit this summer. The
Yep.
basketball, football stadium, baseball stadium, all downtown.
Downtown.
Downtown is they realized downtown was premium real estate. Okay, it was
Mm-hmm.
prime real estate because that's where everything is in. So now they had this live, work, and play theme, which is
Mm-hmm.
okay. I want to live in the outskirts of downtown. I want to work downtown. I want to be able to take public transportation if I want. The light rail system that you hear about in Atlanta, they call it the Belt Line. The light rail that you hear about in Charlotte. It's just all going on because now new money wants to do those things. They don't want to drive. They don't want to be inconvenienced. So the hood became prime real estate. And with the hood becoming prime real estate, unfortunately, if you don't own or if you are irresponsible, you got pushed out or you will be pushed out. And what I mean by irresponsible, that unfortunately in the real estate business, we see people inheriting houses, they can't pay the taxes. They can't pay the $700 mortgage.
Can't pay, don't want to pay.
Both, both,
Yeah,
both.
you know.
Yeah. That situation is so sad because it'll be five people, but one person has the ability to pay, but they don't want to pay because they like, yo, I know if I pay, I'm not getting paid back. They ain't giving me no money.
Mm-hmm.
They'll walk away. Which if I was in that situation, I don't want to be the only person paying. But I would try to be reasonable and buy people out. But then you got to hope they reasonable. You know what I mean? Because I've seen in multiple situations where it's like, yo, the taxes have not been. I've been paying the taxes for 3 years. My siblings said they was going to pay me back, and that ain't happened. I'm ready to sell. I just got to get away from them. Because some people you can love them, but you
Yep.
can't do business with them. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? You just you can't involve money in that relationship. But that's basically the history. What's going on with the hood, where
Yep.
the live, work, and play theme. So Section 8 in Charlotte is not as prevalent as it once was in these neighborhoods. I mean, in the hood, a 2-bedroom, 1 bath can get anywhere between $1,000 to $1,200 in the hood in Charlotte, and
Yeah.
that's low rent considered here.
Listen, y'all, if you are liking this conversation, hit the like button and drop a one in the comments because he just dropped a whole book on y'all. Some folks don't like to read. He just gave y'all the whole book. And I'm telling you, it's the news just did a thing here, Nas, and I'm in Austin, and the same things happening that's happening everywhere else. And they show this really ran down house and how Austin needs to work on these ran down zombie houses. Then they pull up the black family with 5 kids in the family. And they say, "What? Well, what happened? Well, we really want to keep our mother's house, but it's just no money to fix it." Like, and I was like, "Come on, man." Y'all know that was a setup for the TV camera to be like, "See, they got these houses, they won't fix
Yep.
the roof falling down. They mama is gone." Like, I know a family here who every single child lives in Houston. All 5 of them. Their mom passed away a year ago, and she was in her 90s. They got a big old double ranch house on the other side of Austin on Manor Road. The back taxes are 100,000. For her to have $100,000 in back taxes, that means it had to go for 9 years because they have homestead um, act and other things here where old people don't have no taxes. So it'd be like so low. So when you realize you got 5 grown children, y'all all in Houston, y'all could even just rent y'all mama's house out for 3 bands plus, maybe 4 because of how big it is. They don't want to pay them taxes.
Won't pay the taxes. And Houston is another city that has a long line of just black excellence. Not currently. I'm talking about like pre-civil rights. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like they just had a lot of black rich history there, man. And fast forward today, they still got a lot of black people thrive in Houston, Atlanta, Charlotte, DC. They in these places, and it's unfortunate that you got 5 kids complaining about a tax bill that they let go for 10 years. But again, that situation of if somebody paid it, then the other people wasn't going to pay them back. And then what happens? So let's say me and Ericka siblings, the
Mm-hmm.
tax bill is, let's say the tax bill, we got a premium. We inherited a house in a premium neighborhood in Charlotte.
Yep.
Tax bill $4,000. Well, if Ericka pays the $4,000 and she get tired of it by year 4, she gonna be like, "Yo, hey Nas, what we gonna do about this taxes? It's been 4 years, you ain't paid. Things rough and I can't do it. Well, well, listen, let's sell. Nah, you ain't selling my mother house. Oh, you ain't selling my mother house.
It's always like that.
Wait, no, you ain't selling up. You're not helping me pay. Then what happens is, you don't want to sign off on the sale. Then Ericka stop paying taxes. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and because Ericka got a household too. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
she got a life in the household. She just giving away $4,000, and I'm supposed to pay it back. And they end up losing the property, and all that, man. And it happens all the time, everywhere across.
All the
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
Even and here's a part I was going to say on the color of law, backing up a little bit. 52% of black people lived in the rural areas, like the edges. So when white people started moving to the suburbs, we were their neighbors in the country, quotation marks, right? If you move too far out of Charlotte, it was like, whoa. If you ever look up North Carolina, y'all, they did a line across the state and they made sure to leave out Charlotte, and everybody west of that line could go to college for free. And they made sure to build a big old circle around, like to make sure Charlotte wasn't included. So if you live in any kind of the mountainous areas west of Charlotte, you can go to college for free. It was an attempt to get all the poor white people out of the mountains in North Carolina, and it still don't work, but they did try. And so
Yeah.
there's been some stuff in law that's been quite funky. And Charlotte has always been like, that's fine. We're going to go around it. No problem. So it's unfortunate, but here's my problem, Nas. Some of our folks, it ain't 2008. I remember there was a 2008. This lady let this house go in Atlanta, ranch style house, 3 bedroom, 1.5 bath. The weird extra bath. And Paula Pants. I don't know if you know who that is, but she's real famous in the real estate space. She bought it for $27,000. She really couldn't believe this woman was letting it go because
Where,
she
what city we talking about?
Atlanta, Georgia. The
I
house, this was 2008. The house was 70,000. The bank was like, you don't have to walk away. You can just make payments. And she was like, well, I'm underwater like crazy. I'm going to just leave it. So she got this house for 72, left it. Paula Pant bought it for $27,000.
hmm.
Now, what do you think that house in Atlanta is worth now?
Depending on, at minimum is, everywhere any major city, very few major cities you can move into a single family house under 300K.
Yeah, it's bananas. And Paula Pant bought all her rentals in Atlanta during that 2008, 2009. And she living all over the world. Like she traveled off the rentals in Atlanta, And so my biggest concern is, and we'll get kind of the wholesaling is we don't see the value till it's like too late. Right.
Always.
Even if we have the opportunity to own grandma's house, stay in grandma's house. There was a news article in Clemson, South Carolina. Now, Clemson, the football team.
Yeah.
They've been killing it, right?
Killer.
This lady is in front of the news, and that's how they did her. They took a news picture up front of her house. The blinds all tore up, a little bit of trash in the yard. She's like, I inherited this house 13 years ago, and the taxes are going up. It's so terrible. And so the news, you know how the news did her. They said her taxes are $450 a year. Ma'am, you inherited a house 13 years ago. Your blinds looking ragged, the trash in the yard. You're by Clemson University. If you really don't want to be over there, you can sell. Because them college students are buying, street by street. You know how it goes. Closer to college, college students, alumni buy close to the college. So it's almost like, how do we educate? How do we, because just you being online and people seeing prices, man, it's like, wow. How do we educate folks? How do we get them to see the value in the housing?
Man, that's a mental thing, bro. Because some people just don't want to listen to nobody. They don't want to work. So I know somebody in a Charlotte property. Okay, elder person, and I say elder, and not elder. I ain't gonna say elder because they're not 60 yet. They 50
Mm-hmm.
plus. Okay, they 50 plus. They inherited their parents' house. Right, the last surviving parent passed away.
Mm-hmm.
They inherited the house. They went, okay, to move in that particular house. Okay, they went to move in that house. They got a letter from the bank stating that they got a letter from the bank stating that the house is being foreclosed on. This person was in shock and surprise. It's like a 70 or $80,000 mortgage was owed, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte, we talking about 2022. Charlotte, all right?
Oh my God.
70, 80K on a Charlotte property.
That's a steal.
There we go. All right. So, and I'm talking about full house, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, full. And this person this person packed up their bags and left because they couldn't live for free. 50 plus. They couldn't live for free. Meaning
70K?
they didn't want to pay an electric bill. They didn't want to pay the gas bill. They didn't want to pay no utilities. They didn't want to pay the mortgage. So
Are they retired in their mind?
they thought they were going to. They didn't have to do anything. They just lived in the house for the rest of their days, and they just thought like, well, taxes due. I won't pay the taxes, and I just live for free because now this is a real quote. Everything was in the deceased person's name.
Stop.
Yeah, now this is a 50 plus person. So all right,
I can't.
yeah,
And somewhere,
yeah.
somewhere, there's a public school teacher said, "I tried. I really did try with him."
Yeah.
And
So the son-in-law reaches out to me. I know that I got a relationship with the son-in-law. Reaches out, they got my number, reaches out to me, telling me the whole situation. He like, yo, can I do something with that? I said, hell yeah. I said, yo, tell her you're gonna throw her 20, just listen to you. Um, she has to start probate. From starting probate, she'll take possession of the house. Takes possession. I said, yo, she's the surviving heir. Yes, she's the only heir. Okay, this is great. She's gonna take probate. She's gonna inherit the house. She's gonna control it. You're gonna give her 100. So the bank gonna get they 70. She may get somewhere between 20 and 30. You could either keep it for yourself, wholesale it for about 150, 160, make 50, $60,000 on it, and go your way or whatever. You know what I mean? Um, don't you know? He told her like, listen, this is what I need you to call the bank, let them know that your mom passed. They're gonna work with you. He said she looked and said, what? I don't want that on my credit. I ain't telling nothing. You know,
what is she doing with her credit right now?
no. I said, when he was telling me, he knew this, but I was like, yo, if you want a $70,000 home loan in Charlotte on your credit, if anything. But I was
Her
like,
her mortgage would have been what, 325?
but I was exactly. But I was telling him,
325.
I was explaining to him, I said, yeah, well, he knew this. He knew this. I said, yo, it don't work like that. They're not just gonna throw it on your credit. They're gonna work with her. She let them know they're doing the probate. They're gonna work with her with the sale of the home, and she's going to walk away with money. But she was so scared about them putting it on her credit. Now it's 70,000 for a house in Charlotte. She was so scared. She walked away. She wouldn't deal with him because I guess she looked at him like, man, you my son-in-law. You married my daughter, but he really responsible. Like I know the guy, like the guy about his bread, but I don't know what his wife is saying to her mom. I don't know. You know what I
Could he
mean?
not buy it from her?
He could not. That's what he wanted to do, but she would have to start probate and let them know what's going on.
Oh my God.
Like she was scared to do that because she thinking that once she called the bank and say, "Hey, I'm living here," or "I'm the daughter," they're gonna put it on her credit, and she was just scared of that. And it's like it doesn't work like that. But she was 50 plus. But I tell you that story, whereas some people will not be saved. Some people you cannot save them. If you are smarter than that example I gave, if you want better in your life, then you can get better in your life. But some people are not willing to change, are not willing to get new information, and we have to leave them behind. So these sob stories of losing my mama house in a major city in America for 60, 70,000 when the house was probably worth 300K fixed up. You know what I'm saying?
Even if
Like
she kept it and listed it for sale with a realtor.
she wouldn't listen to nobody because she was so scared that the house was just going to go on her credit just by making a phone call. Like you ain't got to sign no documents, nothing. They just gonna go on your credit just by making a phone call. Like, oh, NASA, oh, okay, oh yeah, well, since your mom owed us some money, it's on you now. Like she was just that, like she thought it worked like that. She put that scenario together in her head. This is somebody who
Pray for that man. He got a
50,
long journey.
50 plus with no stable household. Like she has, like after that, she had to get an apartment. And how you gonna get an apartment in Charlotte? Whereas an article just came out that I posted, I put it on my YouTube, put it on my Instagram, put it on my Facebook. You have to make $61,000 at least to afford a 1 bedroom in Charlotte on average. And so I was thinking to myself, like, man, it's probably gonna become his problem because
It is.
she gonna say, oh, well, I need to move in with y'all.
That's
And
exactly what about. She gonna try to live free for the next 30 years.
that's all. That's
I
all.
mean, honestly,
Until senior citizen housing open up. But if you know anything about senior citizen housing, then
long wait lines.
man, listen, them wait lists be 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. You literally waiting for somebody to croak. Like you're literally waiting
Damn.
for somebody to croak. So, oh, this apartment opened up. All right, next person move up. You know.
Y'all, I want y'all to understand. I went to a mastermind, and the guy basically was like, "We're gonna build really cheap, basic apartments because the amount of people that's gonna just wait till they get some Social Security, and the amount of people that's gonna wait for some UBI or just some checks, that's who that will be in those apartments." And I thought, "Oh, that's crazy." I went to another conference, same conversation. They said, "Oh yeah, I drove," and you hear stuff, and you like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I drove on my way to Houston. I looked over these really cheap looking apartments. I said, "Oh, that must be for the college students." They said, "No, Erica, that's for regular adults." I said, "This by Prairie View." They're like, "Yeah, but this is for regular adults." I said, "Oh my god." It looked like a what's them weekly stays called? That's what it looked like, a weekly stay. And I said, "That's an apartment?" They said, "Yeah, that's an apartment." I said, "Oh hell no." See, this is what's when people don't want to pay any kind of rent, they don't want any kind of responsibility. That is what awaits you. The ugly old weekly stay looking apartments, y'all. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, like yeah, they're building. I don't see people doing it rampant like other type of multifamily houses, but Charlotte has a. I know Charlotte had a few new senior city, senior citizen apartment complexes. Some were city funded, some private sector, but they get city subsidies. Because the reason why I know that is because when sellers sell me their house, they would go there and I would have to help them with getting applications, driving around looking for these joints. And yeah, man, some of them are nice. Some of them, like I described what Ericka is saying, but the wait list for them joints be long, especially if they're nicer. The wait list is long because it's a lot of people that are, a senior citizen that's like, yo, I ain't save up properly. I ain't got nothing. You know what I mean? So yeah.
It's wow. Thank you guys for the super chat. Sorry, I'm not reading all of them, but J.S. Vaughn said, gave the $5 super sticker. She said, "Where you live for free." Then D Brown said, "Hey, I bought two townhouses with credit card cash advances thanks to Doru."
Okay. I love that, man. I love that. Yeah. Can I
Screenshot that. Anybody screenshot that and send that to him. Smile, look up. Smile, look up. All right. I hope y'all screenshotted it. That's why y'all smile. We looked at the camera.
let me take that.
You gotta look. You gotta look. So it's like you talking. They catch you mid talk. So yeah, I mean, seriously, where do you live for free? I don't know how she thought that. So you don't want to pay mortgage or utilities, but instead you're gonna pay rent. I don't know, Sherry. I don't know where she was thinking on that.
Yeah. Can I tell you that story about the credit card advances, please?
Please, yeah, do it. This your time. Come on, come do it.
I was in a call center. 2000 between 2008 2010 on Wachovia. This young white kid, we were the same age, or I had him by like a year. And um so with that being said, it was a house that I was could have bought for like $10,000. And he overheard he used to see the books I read and all that. So he pulled me to the side. He said, "Yo, my father did real estate. That's how he became a millionaire. You ever heard of Newark?" I said, "Yeah, I heard of Newark, New Jersey, right?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I'm from Jersey." La, la, la. He said, "Yeah, yeah." He said, "Newark was really rough back then." He said, "My father used to get, mugged and robbed, going to collect rent and all that. So he wouldn't keep any money. They would never get anything. It just, they would just want stuff, and he wouldn't accept cash, money orders, and things like that. But he became a millionaire. My brother does real estate." He said, "Me, I don't really know what I want to do, but um, his father made him buy a house and rent out the rooms to his friends. Like, so he was very financially savvy, grew up talking about finances at the kitchen table. But anyway, I'm telling him about this deal I can buy. He said, $10,000. He said, "You know what?" I said, "Nah, I ain't got it." He said, "Yo, you got credit cards?" I said, "Yeah, I got credit cards." He said, "Listen, he said, I'll talk to one of my brothers and see if they'll do the loan. But if not, this is what you do. Go call your credit card company, ask for a balance transfer check." This before they would do the deposit. He said, "You ask for a balance transfer check, and they'll mail it to you, and that's how it would go." So I said, "All right." I called my credit card company, got home to test this theory. The balance transfer check. So if your credit card limit, let's say, is 15,000, I always had great credit with in my 20s or whatever. I already had great credit. But good credit and income are two different things. So let's say you had a credit card for 15,000. Well, what you can do is you can do a balance transfer for 15,000, 12,000, whatever you feel comfortable with. But they sent me the checks. I wrote my check for $10,000. Um, and boom, it was going to credit card. You get, and at that time they were running. He told me to ask for promotions. They would run like 0% promotions, and for 6 months, a year, because credit card companies just want you. They would want the debt. They know once they got that debt on their books, chances are you're not going to pay it off within that.
Basically.
Yeah, cheap APR or the 0% interest rate time. So, man, I did that joint and got the house. Like, and yeah, and I went on my YouTube channel, made a video about how to do that, man. So yes, that does work, guys.
Still works.
Still works to this day. Some people do that at a higher level, man. Some guys are teaching, get 50 to 100,000 off your credit cards like that, whatever. I don't necessarily teach it aggressively because I don't want the average person to be in debt, because the average person cannot handle debt.
They cannot.
And it's unsecured debt, meaning that it's not attached to a house. Like, if me and Ericka get in a bad situation, we owe 80,000 on the house. We know we got multiple options. Okay, we can rent it, we can Airbnb, we can sell it. You know what I mean? We got options there. You know what I'm saying? Whereas you got unsecured debt, these people don't give you 50,000, and you already took the trips and went to the Louis Vuitton store. You in a bad situation now.
You in a hella bad situation. You might as well get on Etsy tonight. You better get on eBay tonight. Turn right about and put all of it for sale.
So all that joint for sale, you know what I mean? So yeah,
Listen, if y'all want to have a lick or come up before, I'm just gonna tell y'all this. Go on Facebook Marketplace. Look at all the stuff that's for sale right now. This before you get the taxes. When you get your taxes back, all the Hondas go back up to $5,000. But when you go now, they be like, "I'll take it for 2,000, please, for the Christmas." That's just the nature of people. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Y'all got a lot of crazy comments in here. Y'all cracking me up. Somebody said that which magic credit. I mean,
and it's so cool. I don't know if Eric, I know you noticed it, but
mhm.
all the influencers are talking about credit, business credit, get this, get that. And I'm like, yo, okay, so once they get this credit, they get the money. What's next? So me and my boy from Jersey, Mac, he sells insurance or whatever. We talk about it all the time. And of course, he knows somebody that did what they did, got the lines of credit from these people. Now, some of they have these companies that will offer you loans based off your bank statement, based off your business credit, whatever. However, you personally guarantee it in some cases. Personal guarantee means that, all right, this is in your business credit. If you pay it, it just goes on your business credit as a good standing payment. If you don't pay it, we goes on your personal credit and we come after you personally.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody done got $50,000, somebody don't had a ball, and they came to him with the sob story, like trying to borrow some money and seeing what they could do next. And he like, yo, I can't help you. What did you do with the money? And of course, they had a good time with the money.
A great time.
They had a great time with the
They
money.
went to Cabo.
They did not make one. They did not make one payment. Or they definitely went to Cabo though. That was the spot.
It hit
They,
that Cabo.
they definitely went to Cabo. So they did not make one payment on the debt. Like one payment. Like they didn't make the first payment, second payment. That this time they was already on the 7 to 8 payment. Like they just gonna close out the account and go after them personally. But it's like, yo, dude, why would you put yourself in that situation? If you had no plans, or you didn't have a plan, you didn't research anything, you took these people money, how do you think this was going to turn out?
The same way that stimmy check, when that stimmy check came out, them people was in Tulum to Tulum is no longer Tulum.
That's where
Them
Tulum,
influencers were fronting.
they were a front. They definitely beat Tulum down.
Listen, if y'all from Houston, in the chat, anybody from Houston or Dallas, tell people them Tulum tickets was $200 before they ran them up. Because back in the day, like even 2 years ago, I could have went to Tulum for 150, Cabo for 250.
That was
Because we live in
everywhere.
Texas. We live
That
in
was
Texas.
no, that was everywhere. Them
Oh, was
Tulum
it?
chicken cheap.
Okay,
Yeah, it was
okay.
everywhere. And keep in mind, Tulum was like one of the only spots open. So you got your flex on, and you got a cheap ticket.
Yep.
And then Florida, Florida Republican ran, not trying to get heavy into politics. They didn't necessarily close down, so they had Miami open. So if you remember, it was
It
57
was wild.
fights on in the airport and on the airplanes
Yes.
of people going to Miami because they finally got to afford a ticket. They don't know how to act.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They see
Take that
some.
to Spirit. Get out of here with that. Go on the Greyhound on the Sky. Go to Spirit. Go. Listen, Austin was so ratchet. Austin put Southwest Spirit. No, Southwest stayed. It put Spirit and Frontier at a whole nother airport. Austin didn't even care. It was like, y'all go over to the South Terminal. That's a 5-minute drive from the other airport.
Yeah, bro.
You're not even gonna be in the same airport with that mess.
Every time they would go viral in 2020, it was either Spirit or the other one you just said,
Frontier,
Frontier, Spirit of
Allegiant.
Frontier, a fight, Legion, and for whatever reason, is they were either coming from Miami or going to Miami. And
Always.
yeah, because Miami, to get to Miami back then was like 50, 60, $70. So
Yeah.
people, they know how to act. They was shooting down there.
Listen, I was in the airport. These girls were rushing through in bikini and swimwear with the cover overs, black girls. And I said, where the hell they going? Like, did y'all just leave the pool and cover up and come to the airport? And they were like, ma'am, y'all missed your flight. It's too late. We got 10 minutes. It's like, ma'am, the door is closed. You don't have time. The door is closed. And I was sitting there like, should I record this or should I feel sorry for them? I didn't. They was in swimwear, y'all. Did they really think they was gonna make that 8 o'clock flight? The last flight out of that bad boy, they couldn't have.
Yeah. Yeah. People don't know how to act, man. Somebody said, okay, if it did go on her credit, what does that mean to her? She has nothing. You right? Nah, yeah.
Did she have a car? Is she one of the people with no car? I meet a lot of people in Charlotte with no car. I'd be like, how you get around?
Uh,
Where are you going?
um, okay. For whatever reason, I've learned the people with bad credit, the people in bad situations, the people that are not doing well, they are so skeptical and protective about their 570 credit score. And it's like, yo, with your credit, what am I going to do? I'm going to finance a brand new 2012 Dodge Charger with an 80% interest rate with your credit. Like ain't nothing going on with your credit, but in their mind, they just be so scared and they don't want to take outside advice from nobody, and and they lose the property. But again, I've learned not to feel bad for these people because at a certain point, we choose to be in a messed up situation.
Mm-hmm. Somebody said, but she wasn't scared to live for free.
Nah, she wasn't scared to live free. Nah, she really thought she was gonna live for free because
how did she think that? That's so wow.
All the bills were in the deceased name. So she thinking like, yo, this in their name, so I ain't gotta pay nothing. Let me just
But like the light bill, that's a bill that's due every month. Like you can't not pay your light bill.
you
That's
can't.
crazy.
Some people just won't accept logical.
But listen, somebody said she wouldn't live with me. No way. Listen, she gonna find a way. I
I
know
mean,
plenty of families right now got a mother-in-law living with them
there
through
you
the
go.
pandemic. Oh,
There
she
you
was scared. The pandemic scared her to not
There
pay
you
rent.
go. All right, because Sherry, I don't know about you, Sherry, but um, most people they got somebody in their immediate family that they got a soft spot for, and the soft spot meaning you'll accept that sob story and you won't question it. You're like, all right, whatever. So yeah, it works. Yeah, now if you probably a little strong, like yo, I can't deal with your stuff no more, etc. Because I got people in my family who's like, yo, bro, they know better ask me. Nah, I ain't uh, but and I got a person or three in my family. They're older. Where it's like, man, what you need, bro? Whatever. Like, just here. You know what I mean? So it's just these people, irresponsible people, know who got a soft spot for them, and they just go there all the
My
time.
family members got me, man. They got me good when I was really rich a couple years ago. They got me good. I had this, so we have this family that's like a distant cousin. Our family owns rentals, Nas, in Fayetteville, North Carolina. We own rentals. We got land. You can put a trailer out there. Our grandma left us some trailers. We rent them out. We had a family member. She was renting a house near Fort Bragg for 25 or 26 years. The owner of the house had cancer. He said, listen, I'm gonna sell you this house for 35. Now she been paying on this house that's worth 80 now, but when she got in it, it was worth 35. I'm gonna sell you this house for 35 because in about 6 months, I'm gonna let my son take over everything because I got this cancer and he may not let you stay. Oh, I ain't got 35. Now, anybody in our family would have gave her the 35. We would have paid it because she been in that house 26 years. All her sons grew up, went in the military, went on to she didn't call none of us. She didn't tell nobody. So all of a sudden, we get a call. She's like, I need y'all to help. Help. I need an attorney. I said, what's going on? The son is making me move. The son, who? Mr. Yeah, I'm trying not to say his name in Fayetteville. Y'all know who it is, but he owned a lot of rentals. It says he died and his son took over and gave me a 60-day notice. 60 days after being there 26 years, y'all. The father came and asked her. He asked all his old tenants that been living for a long time there, did you want to buy it? We'll go ahead and sell it to you. Son ain't care. Son got up out of there, and now she asked us like, if you'd have told us 6 months ago, we could have figured something out. Now we got to move you 45 minutes into the deep country in a trailer, and you older and you don't want to walk upstairs. What you want us to do? That's the best we can do for you in this short time period. And so people really do that. They really play on your well. Somebody gonna help, and it's get crazy out here.
Yo, those you do have, and it don't matter how good you try to be for with someone, or if you try to be a nice person, whatever. Some people it's never enough. So, for example, Erica could have gave me $1 million, and I spent it in 9 months. So I'm mad and hate Erica because she didn't give me 2 mil. You know what I mean? Like those
I
situations.
got one like
It,
that right now.
yeah, we all got family members like that. So and I encounter those. I'm not. I wouldn't say they friends because they get out of my. I don't have them in my life. I don't have that in my life or as friends. But we all got family members like that. But I'll say this: it's like, all right, the old man was being nice, and you do have some older landlords. These new generation landlords, not so nice. Older landlords, they are not, and I've seen them do that before. And the tenant, and they pass, they move on, they sell the house, and the tenant mad. He's like, "Yo, I was going to give you the house. It'd be like $160,000 house. They give it to him for 70, $80,000, and the person don't want to go get the mortgage. They BS or whatever the case may be, and they lose it. So I did meet an older black guy in the hood. All right. He had a duplex. He was renting out a duplex for he said, man, I've been in duplex like 10, 15 years, dude. He was like, man, he said, I seen them building them $300,000 townhomes across the street from me. He said, the landlord said, yo, man, I'm ready to retire. I'm trying to get out. She said, yo, everybody keep hitting me up wanting to buy this duplex, but I'll sell it to you. gave him a really low price for the duplex that you're not gonna get in Charlotte, and he was smart enough to walk into NACA, and he bought that property up, and they gave him money to fix it up and all that because he seen what was going on in the neighborhood. So yeah,
And that's the thing. It's like usually these older landlords, they being not, they really do give you like 60 days, a few months before they like, okay, look, I gotta sell this, or it's the end of the year, I'm gonna do A, B, and C. And I hear that story more than you would think.
all the time. I'm broke the business, so I hear it like, yo, when I'm doing a deal with the landlord or with the family, they be like, yo, my father, or yo, I offered this. I'm selling it to you for 130. I offered it to them about 80 because they've been with me so long, and for 7 months straight. After month seven, I realized they weren't going to do anything. So that's when I started accepting these guys' calls, and I'm like, well, I'm here, and I'm happy to pay 130 for it. You know what I mean? Like I'm happy, and
Hmm.
the tenant just, hey, bro, listen. If you don't take advantage of opportunity, there's somebody out there that will.
Man, listen, someone said in Houston, it's a 5-year wait for a 1 bedroom apartment in a senior complex. I believe it because people really aren't doing the math that they will live longer and keep working and be dying at 80, 90, not 60, 70 anymore. So them wait lines are gonna be longer. Somebody said the tickets from Dallas were two for $1 to go to Mexico.
Wow, they was cheap. They was cheap everywhere, not just for Texas, for everywhere. Because everybody was beating up Tulum.
But do you ever listen? I know you probably run into it in Charlotte, but I be hearing texting people like, I never left Texas. I'm like, never? Even when the Tulum is $50, the flight down the street, even to go to Denver is $50 Southwest,
Hey,
anytime almost.
nah, I've been knew that even as a kid. My parents told me that because in my family, cousins, because my mother's side of the family is educated. She was her siblings were able to be first generation college graduates from HBCUs and all that, man. But yeah, every summer growing up, my mother passed when I was 14. I'm 39 now. My mother passed when I was 14.
I'm
So
sorry to hear that.
it's all right. But she would put us in the car. We drive 8 hours from New Jersey to Lumberton, North Carolina.
Lumberton.
Lumberton, North Carolina, right over there by
Lumberton with
Fayetteville.
the
So with the
Lumbies.
Lumbies, right?
Woo,
And
woo,
my
woo.
my we, as a kid, you don't really like it, you know what I mean? But they was my cousin would be like in front of my mother, he was always educated. He graduated from UNC Chapel Hill. Shout out to the Tar Heels. So
Oh,
he
don't do that. East Carolina Pirates. Hook 'em.
so he would say like, "Yo, you don't know how lucky you are to be able to go down. Even if it's North Carolina, to get out of where you live. There's some kids in Newark, Irvington, East Orange, Elizabeth that never left the city." So they told me that when I was a kid, before the age of 14. By the time I was an adult, I realized, like, when I say adult, 20, I realized exactly what they was talking about because it was people that never left their city. You know what I mean? Like they never left their city or whatever. They never went out of state, never been out of state and all that. And it was like a generational thing. So
For
yeah,
real.
I was blessed in those regards because I always knew the world was bigger than when I was at. So and people like if you don't have no money, I mean, even just putting your kids in the car and just going somewhere, not like a day trip, just showing that the world is bigger than where they're at, man. I was reading a book of some first a woman, she was a single parent, she was a first she was an immigrant, and her kids were first generation American. So she said, well, the kids was writing this in the book. The kids grew up to be like doctors, lawyers, accountants. Immigrant families, they really big on those titles.
They're not playing.
They want those, yeah. So and as a kid, he said with the mother was poor. She worked like 3 jobs, but she would put them on a city bus and just show them all different parts of the town as a regular thing to so that they can know that they don't have to settle for the life that they had and they can go out and achieve anything. And they all the kids grew up to become successful.
Here's the crazy part. As a military kid, live in Alaska, live in a place, you get to go to different cities and you're not stuck with that. mindset. Sometimes I meet somebody who's never left their hometown. Well, I never had a chance. What do you mean? Leave this place. Move. You ain't a tree. You're not stuck here. You can leave. And sometimes people literally live a place. Like if you lived in New Jersey, you'd be a different person right now, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Hella
correct.
different.
Yeah,
Hella
yeah,
different.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
so this is something I always tell people, like, move around. Get some feet, get on a bus, anything. Bella Dawn says, since the hood is no longer, I know y'all got some questions y'all sent me. I see them. Since the hood is no longer affordable, where can you find uh good on and off market deals? Auctions?
What you want to do is you want to go after certain lists, right? You want to go after pre-foreclosure lists. Everybody has problems, regardless of income class or income level. So pre-foreclosure lists, code enforcement lists, tax delinquent lists. You want to go after those deals. But if you're in the Charlotte, Atlanta, Austin, Houston, I strongly recommend you work the immediate outskirts. So I've been doing a lot of stuff over on the outskirts the last few years, and on the outskirts. I'm meaning like the cities right outside of Houston, the counties right outside of whatever county Houston's is. Just going after those, man. So my last rental, my duplex, I should refinance, I think tomorrow, supposedly, but yeah, my last joint, man, refinancing, and yeah, it was on the outskirts of Charlotte, and being that Charlotte is growing so much, white, black people, any other ethnicities, they can't afford Charlotte either. So what happens? The outskirts grow. So now that the outskirts are growing, what's going on in the outskirts? The neighborhoods around their downtowns, because now the city's realizing, hey, we getting this influx of people. We about to invest in our downtown area to get it. And what's going on now? The property's going from went from 20, $40,000 to 200,000, 300,000 on the in these neighborhoods on the outskirts of these major cities, because of your you ain't the only one that can't afford it. You know what I mean? Don't think that somebody has more money than you based off their education level, based off their skin color, based off their ethnicity, whatever. They can't afford it either, so they're going out to these places too. And the city is invested in these places, man. So that's what I would recommend that you do. So, for example, it's a spot here called Rock Hill, South Carolina. Well, the Panthers owner, David Tepper, he announced that he was going to build a new Panthers headquarters and practice facility in Rock Hill. The game day was going to be in Charlotte. Well, I went out there and I bought like 4 rentals out there, man. But he ditched that plan. End up that he ditched the plan. Ended up getting into it with the city. He walked away from it. He's not doing it anymore. But you want to read news like that. Like I subscribe to my local business journal, so I got Charlotte Business Journal. If you subscribe, there is a price, but it lets me know what's going on in these, and not only Charlotte, but the surrounding areas. It lets me know that Google is coming to North Carolina to bring X amount of jobs, because
Damn, Raleigh Durham.
yes, you want to invest where the jobs are, because where the jobs are, that's where the income is, and people that got income need a place to live, and that's where you're going to get the appreciation for the properties.
Man, listen, y'all. There's so many gems. I'm gonna chop this up and put this some pictures on Instagram. But listen, D Brown said my townhouses were 24K each in Decatur, Georgia, 30034. I pulled advances from 3 cards, 0% for 20 months. I paid back every dime before the interest kicked in. Some of the questions I got from my Wealth Wednesday students. Somebody asked, "What type of entity are you okay, let me read this. What type of entity are you operating from for wholesaling and flipping? Is it an LLC or S corp?"
I have a LLC. I have an LLC taxed as an S corp from my flipping and wholesaling. So LLC taxed as an S corp, and my accountant set that up for me. My accountant. Once you start making a certain amount of money, especially in real estate, I know a few guys who they do the TurboTax thing, and when the IRS asks them for paperwork, they always be jammed up and messed up.
Mhm.
So I hire an accountant. So if you're making 100, 150,000 a year, minimum doing real estate, and you should get an accountant, ideally that specializes in real estate, so they can make sure you're set up properly and all that. But I have an LLC taxed as an S corp. So what that
Gotcha.
means, guys, I have to pull a salary from my that LLC.
Another question somebody said, what are the best hard money lenders? Now, I don't know where they live. They didn't put their city and state, but in general, how do you find them and what are the best? Just give them an answer.
Just go ahead and Google whatever your city is, hard money lenders. But my man, if you go to my YouTube channel, I literally just interviewed a hard money lender that he will lend to first time flippers on my channel, Real Estate Doru.
Will
Is
he do Detroit?
That's a
That's the
good question.
hardest one.
That's a good
Hardest
question.
one.
I know he did say no New York or LA, but I don't know because Michigan is like its own country.
It
People be like, "Oh
really
no,
is.
no, we don't do that." Only few lenders, go out there to
Good gracious.
Michigan. And me and Erica let it D. I don't, Erica. I know you had other arrangements, but when I'm in the D, pause. I get that good food, that county, that Coney Island, and all that,
I
man.
haven't had it. It's the one place I haven't been. You know where I've been? I've been to the 75 something. It's a food truck that does like po' boy sandwiches, shrimp. It's the Muslim folk. They do the fish. I've been to the Buddy's Pizza. I've been to the
Yeah.
just name. There's a place with turkey chops. I forgot what it's called, but it's like sweet potato something turkey chops.
Oh yeah.
Black lady owns it. Mm-hmm.
Asia took me there. Asia took me there. Yes, that was good. But yeah, D got some good food, man. It's under, people sleep on it, but they got some good food and great real estate opportunities if you
Mm-hmm.
if you not scared to invest from afar. As far as what he's saying, I invest in Charlotte, North Carolina area. So that's the whole metro area. So outskirts, the media outskirts and all that. That's what I do. Um, so, do I think it's crashing? I'm not going to say crashing. Will there be an adjustment? Absolutely. With these interest rates, people are getting scared. After I have not had to pay a buyer's closing cost in 4 years. I had a buyer come to me and say, "Yo, I need 5,000 in closing costs to buy your house." I did not turn them away because my house was on the market for 3 weeks, and that was the first hard offer I finally got. So the market is definitely adjusting. So, and being that the market is adjusting, will there be price adjustments? Yes. Would I say crashing? No. 2008, that was a crash. You know what I mean? Like that was
Cut
like
in half. Charlotte was like bleeding.
bleeding. There you go, bleeding. And we wasn't even one of the worst places in the country, but you know what I mean. But it was just like she said, cut in half. You know what I mean? So I just wish I would have learned about real estate investing first before investing, so I can be strategically and do like you said, the girl, the woman Paula, and send me her IG or her social media handles. I want to follow her. But
For sure.
I had a friend Dan. He
Mm-hmm.
would talk about downtown. He would talk about the light rail way before it happened, how it was coming. He bought into this neighborhood. Man, this dude travels the world in a backpack right now. He made all his investments during the recession. Travels the world with a backpack right now. And yes, so like what she's saying is real. Like you can just buy right
Mm-hmm.
in a downturn, and then you can be set for the rest of your life.
Listen, I'm gonna give y'all a little tip, but I'm saving the rest for Wealth Wednesday students. And me and I was probably talk about this another time. There are people who buy land, get all the intent, get everything set up, get the architect plans and everything, and then sell it to you. Because one, they ran out of money, or two, they just don't even be bothered because it took so long to get the permits. And then now you just building a house. Y'all, there's so many levels to this game. A lot of land that people are like, I want 30K for this land lot. I'll take 9K. Okay. Thanks for calling me back. I'll take, do you take 9K? Great. Even better. So there's opportunities to win here in Austin. We kind of lost, like, some people were charging Nas, it was crazy, like 700,000 for this house. House looked like crap, like leftover crap. And then so finally they like took 150,000 off. They're like, Austin's crashing. I'm like, no, the houses that look like crap that got gold sinks and micro, just all kind of craziness growing in the backyard. They finally let some steam out the bag. But I'll tell y'all this: go look up the 2016 Forbes Boomtown list. Please go look this up. Every time I tell y'all this, y'all be acting like I'm crazy. 2016 article, Forbes Boomtown list. Every single city they named, including the ones in California, Inland Empire, have boomed, continue to boom, and all the outskirts around them boom. So that's that little 2 cent there. But let me see. Y'all got Wakanda Forever tickets, but I've got two more questions for him. Oh, wait, here it is. Somebody said that place was called Crystal's Nightclub in
That's exactly
Charlotte.
what it was. That's exactly what it was. Yeah, they knocked that down. It was the after hours spot here. So Charlotte is not like a New York City, a New Orleans, or a California. This is not a 24-hour city. What
Mm-hmm.
I mean by that, the nightclubs here close at 1:45, 2 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I don't drink, but there's a law where they have to stop serving alcohol at a certain time, etc. Whereas if I'm from North Jersey, but New York, them clubs close at 4 or 5 in the morning. You know what I mean? New Orleans, same thing. So California, same thing. So this is not a 24-hour city. So that spot was an after hour spot, meaning they close 5, 6 in the morning. I don't know if it was was it legally ran or whatever, but they got away with it for years until they were surrounded by new money, and new money was like, "Yo, nah, we buying
No,
y'all."
no red cups over here at
There you
4 in the
go.
morning.
Ain't no makeups
That
over here.
man was so smooth with it. He came by, he said, "Give me your cup." I'd be like, "Okay." Boom, boom. Here, ma'am. Have a great night. And then he just kept walking around taking the cups, giving you a cup, taking the glasses. I said, "What does this mean?" Okay, what is this? Let me look in this cup. Anyway, but somebody said, "What kind of entity do you recommend for one unit?"
Okay, well, all right. This is what my accountant told me. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a certified
Mhm.
public accountant. So I'm not a CPA. Definitely not an attorney. So I was advised with a if you're doing a rental property, you can do an LLC because with a rental property, you're taxed passively. If you decide to sell that rental property and that particular LLC less than a year and a day, then yeah, you have some you're gonna have some bigger tax consequences if you was in an LLC tax as an S corp.
Mhm.
All right, so cool.
I got one last question for you, but here's the funny part. This guy in the comments said, "I lived in Detroit for 3 years. I'll never go back." Then he said he moved to Charlotte, lived at the View for 3 years, and then said it was too slow and moved to Atlanta. Sir, it sounds like you want to get with the city girls party down there. But I'm glad you found a city you want to live in.
Yeah, I noticed me and my man, we had this conversation. The people that say, yo, Charlotte is too slow, they normally, like you said, they want that nightlife, so they move
Ratchet,
to
ratchet.
Atlanta.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like
Then
yeah,
they
about
smoke in the club.
yeah, like for my 20s, Charlotte nightlife was great for me, especially coming from Jersey. It was great for me. Um, but yeah, man, for some people they like that nightlife, and they be 30 plus moving to Atlanta for that nightlife, and you know, they get down there and get a landlord when they could have owned something from here, but everybody different.
This is the crazy part. When I meet people from New York in Atlanta still renting, I'm like, didn't you leave New York and see you couldn't buy nothing?
Yeah,
What part of that game did you not learn the first time?
yeah.
Now you in Atlanta crying about rent, and you was in New York.
Because Atlanta, it has a few months ago in the summer, they deemed Atlanta unaffordable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like in these major cities, man, like yeah, and economists, and I'm not saying you should trust these economists, but economists are not predicting a slowdown with rent,
Mm-hmm.
even though home prices will adjust. They are not predicting. They say that rent will continue to stay high. So that's what they're saying. But I don't know. But if I'm gonna tell you like this, before we wrap this up,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, Tom, I'm 39 now, man. I've been involved in real estate since '07,
You
full
talking about
time.
the one that moved to Atlanta?
That's right. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, everybody, before we wrap up, listen, if you in a situation where you don't own your primary resident, you don't own the home, you never owned a home, um, join NACA, NACA.com. Just join NACA. And in 2023, write down your goals, buy a house when these prices adjust. Builders are giving out more incentives. I'm an investor, I'm a flipper. I flip houses, but I had to give $5,000 back in closing costs. So you can go to these houses sitting in the market, say, hey, listen, I know this house is listed at 300. I don't feel comfortable at that price, but I'll offer you 275. And I need 4,000 back in closing costs. You can, we're reaching that climate
Mm-hmm.
of that happening because all them people that got overpriced houses don't think they're gonna get the prices from February, and that was inflated. That's not happening right now. So you can go there, man. You can go position yourself, but in order to position yourself, you have to prepare yourself. But look into NACA.com, man. So yeah,
Okay. This is my last one. Around Christmas time, I'm going to Hornets game, because I want to see the Portland versus Hornets. Hopefully, your boy Lamelo back better.
yeah, he came back Saturday. In
Okay,
Miami,
okay,
he lost.
okay. So my last question, and it's twofold. Sorry, but you'd be to close it out. What are you currently doing? And two, if somebody was to start from scratch today and they want to be a wholesaler or a new development person, what would you suggest for them to do? So it's a two-part question.
If they want to wholesale starting the day, I'd suggest driving for dollars in your neighborhood. You want to know what driving for dollars? Go to freenasbook.com. Freenasbook.com. Get my first ebook for free. It's $10 on Amazon. You'll get it for free.
Mhm.
Nas is NAS. Freenasbook.com. Okay. So
Freenasbook.com, everybody. Freenasbook.com.
so you can go there and get my free ebook, but drive for dollars. Okay. That's how I would get started in real estate. That's how I got started with real estate. Okay. As far as developing, that's a little bit more cash intensive. So just make
Mhm.
sure you have cash involved in it. And it's basically you will have to do the most important thing in any aspect of real estate, which is finding the deal. And one thing wholesaling teaches you is how to find the deal. So you locate the deal, and then you either going to raise money, walk into a bank. To walk into a bank to get money, you're going to need 2 years of good W-2s, showing profit, showing salary, everything's getting paid for. They want to see all of that and your balance sheets and all that to do that. But like she said, you're going to need, you get the land under contract, but then you're going to got to get the architectural plans and all of that. La, la, la. You know what I mean? But that's how you would get started with that. But believe me, development is cash intensive, so you have to be ready.
Okay, everybody hear that. So Nas, if you wanted, this is his page, Real Estate Duru, not a guru, a duru, because he actually does this. You guys, thank you so much for your comments. Thank you for supporting me coming back. I had to do that vacation. I was out there traveling with my boo thing. I had to go. This is the last. Thank you for the super chat. I'm gonna read it and then I'm gonna close it out. Okay. Have you all looked at the new market tax credit or CDFI fund? They put $5 billion into underserved communities, and you were at 39%. I guess you saved 39% on your tax bill. Thank you, Tamika, for that. I don't know what that is, but I will research it. So, Nas, tell them where they can find you. Name your social media handles and name your durulist.com. Name all of it real quick. Go ahead.
Nah, just find me social media, YouTube, Real Estate Duru, and I give out a lot of free content. The YouTube channel is going in the right direction, so y'all please
Congrats.
give me a subscribe. You know what I mean? Instagram is doing pretty well.
TikTok.
Huh?
You doing TikTok? Oh, I'm sorry.
I
You
got
doing
TikTok.
TikTok?
I got TikTok. I'm not active on there, but Real Estate Duru on there as well. So
Mhm.
Real Estate Duru on all social media platforms, man. Let's get it.
I appreciate you. Listen, I appreciate you coming through. Listen, y'all, if you've been on this internet space long enough, I run into a lot of people and it's just beautiful to see their growth, see how they living. He got the TV behind him, he got the studio. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on and spending some time. Y'all hit him up, blow his DMs up, put his DMs in shambles. And I'll review some of these questions later and put in the chat. Thank you so much. Have a good night.